Now you are watching the video on the Microscope channel on YouTube. But have you asked yourself before, how do you see and hear us now? It is possible, after some thought, to say that our data will send you through the router located in your home and connected to the internet. Just wait, the answer is not finished yet. What is the source that sends the internet to your router? You will tell me that I am contracting with a certain company by paying them a monthly subscription, and they are the ones who send the internet to my router from them. But we haven't answered the question yet. The company you are contracting with and other internet companies located in any country, where do they bring the internet? Could your answer be that they bring the internet from a major source specific to the country, for example? Okay, and other countries. Where does the internet come from? From America, from Britain, for example. In fact, this view is very superficial to understand the internet. The internet does not come to us from a specific source or from a specific country, as some believe. The topic is completely different. In the beginning, and before anything else, let us blow up the rumor that says a certain party owns the internet and distributes it to the whole world, and that this party may still have the right to cut off the internet from a certain country or a specific place and connect it to another country or another place. This is not true, simply because the internet is not allowed to remain in it by someone who owns it. The internet is built on sharing and on collective ownership, and this item is what makes the wheel of the internet spin and connect it to its current form. If you still did not understand the topic, let us explain it in detail. The story of the internet goes back to the 50s of the last century. Specifically in America at that time, all the goal they wanted to reach was to connect some computers to each other, even the short term. I mean, they send a message to a computer in one place to a computer in another place a little far from it. This issue was for the purpose of serving the soldiers in the event that a war broke out between America and any other party. For this reason, the U.S. Department of Defense established an agency called the Advanced Research Projects Agency, known for its acronym DARPA. The agency's primary goal was to create an initial network that would connect the computers together. Indeed, by 1969, the agency succeeded in its mission, and they established a messaging network called ARPANET. They were able to send a message between two computers, one at the University of California and the other at the Stanford Research Institute, located in the same state. And this incident, we can say, was the first building block of the internet in its current form, and who adopts all the special needs of internet services. Someone will ask me, you still said that the U.S. Department of Defense created the internet. Why did you say that the internet does not belong to anyone? So the internet remains the property of America, and it is the one that gives it to the rest of the world. The truth is, the issue is still not that way. In order to clarify the idea of internet ownership, let us go back in time to the time of the first internet network that was linked between the University of California and the Stanford Institute. Let us ask a question here. Do you think the internet connected to them belongs to who? And who is the source? If we look into the matter, we will find that no one belongs to them, and we can answer in another way and say that it belongs to them both. Each of them needs the other, whether in the process of receiving or sending. If we were to talk about the source, then there is no source in the matter at all. The internet here is a wire connected between the two places, and therefore we can consider each place separately as a source for the second place. And this simple sentence is the summary of the story of the internet in the whole world. The internet is not a source in the world. It flows from it, as some believe. It may have origin like America, for example. But at the same time, America is not the source from which the internet is flowing. The internet does not go in one direction, but it is a sending and receiving system. Let us now clarify the shape of the internet map in the world. The internet is a large network between countries that allows the exchange of information between each country and the other. And this network connects all countries to each other through either large sea cables, satellites, or any other means of connection. But usually the issue is mainly on the cables. A very large amount of copper cables or optical fibers connect countries to each other. In deserts, mountains, and even seas and oceans. The ends of these cables will be connected to servers that follow protocols or a unified common language. For the devices to understand each other, and the task of communication is achieved successfully and smoothly. The important thing is that these main cables, when they enter the country, begin to branch out into several branches. These branches are divided among the large internet companies located within the country. Each of them takes a specific branch, and starts dividing it among its customers. It operates its own network, and the last member of this network is your router. So does this mean that America has a primary role in all networks? I mean, if the communication between the countries of the world and America is cut off in this case, is it possible that the internet separates the whole world? Actually, no. If America itself disappeared from the world at all, the internet would remain a very normal operation. And if a person from Germany wants to communicate with a person in Canada, he will communicate with him quite easily, because they are connected to a network that has nothing to do with America. The only effect that will happen at that time is that we will not know how to communicate with anyone in America because there are no wires or networks connecting us and them. We will not know their news, nor will they know our news. Well, in this case, what would happen if the communication with America was cut off? At that time, websites such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and others stopped working, since Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube represent the entire internet for a large segment of people. Above it, this sector will remain as if the internet has stopped for them. But in fact, it is just sites on the internet, nothing more. The internet is filled with an endless number of other platforms and websites, and these sites at that time, we would be able to connect to them very normally if they existed in a country between us and them with an internet connection. And then the people in France, for example, will create an application like Facebook for them. They communicate, during which them and any other country connected to them network. And by the way, in many countries that do this already, China, for example, they do not have Facebook. They have an alternative called WeChat. And they also do not have YouTube. They have an alternative called Yaka. And, believe it or not, China does not have Google at all. They have an alternative engine called Baidu. And most of the Russians, they do not use Facebook. And they use an alternative called VK. So the internet is one thing, and the platforms that have it are another thing. Any country can create its own internet environment, and no one can interfere in this or cut off the internet, as some believe. World Wide Web, owned by everyone. That's all for today. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends, and also tell us in the comments section about ideas for upcoming videos.